What is up? Welcome to Virtual Rise Week 3. Tonight you're going to be hearing from Ty. He's going to share his testimony with you guys, talk about how he came to know Jesus and how Jesus has just totally transformed his life. It's really awesome. Hope you guys listen to the whole thing. It's great. Also, getting to hear Ty talk for 9 minutes is a miracle. So soak it up and listen to that whole video. Stuff going on this week. We're going to have a new challenge tomorrow, so be on the lookout for the Rise, on the Rise Instagram, on the newsletter, and on the website for what that challenge is going to be. Also, I released a video earlier today with the winner of last week's challenge, and so go check that out. Girls, we still have Bible study on Tuesday at 3 o'clock. We're doing a Zoom sesh. If you want to get in on that, let me know. Boys, you have Bible study coming at you from Willie. It's a written version where he's sending out every week a Bible verse and some questions and thoughts to go along with that. If you do not have access to that right now, let me or Willie or anybody know. You can just DM this Instagram and we will make sure to get that to you. Now is an awesome time to go closer to Jesus, so dive right in, guys, and do that. Also, we've got some videos coming at you this week. We just got lots of content going your way. These are videos coming from some Rise graduates. Last week we heard from Morgan Moss. This week you're going to be hearing from Dylan Eaton and Maisie Ramsey, just telling you where they're at in their lives and what they're learning from Jesus during this quarantine time. So some cool stuff. And also, please keep sending in those isolation updates. I love seeing what you guys are doing. Makes me feel connected, and I hope it makes you guys feel connected too. So, yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and send it on over to my buddy, Ty.
Hey, Rise. It's Ty. I hope you and your family are doing well and staying healthy during these crazy times. Just to give you a quick update on what I've been doing. So I've been at this cabin in Buena Vista, Colorado with 4 of my other roommates. This is where we've been quarantining. It's been really good. We've been able to get into the Word daily, hang out, and really fellowship with one another. So I'm really grateful for that. And so for those that don't know me, I'm a sophomore at Western Colorado University, and I'm studying recreation and outdoor education. So with that being said, I love rock climbing, backpacking, camping, all those things, and I love providing those experiences for others. So right now we are in a series on testimonies, so that's what I'll be doing today. I'll be giving my testimony. So let's get into it. So I grew up in Belton, Texas, in a Christian household. I became a believer when I was like 7, 8 years old. Always went to church every week, was always involved in church camps, Christian activities, all those things. So everything was going smoothly until around my junior year of high school. So during this time, a lot of questions arose in my faith that kind of created these doubts that questioned like the existence of God, and if God were real, if you were a God worth believing in. So these were things I really started to struggle with in high school. So I started to read and research different viewpoints that might have answered these questions and helped me. And I came to conclusions and answers to some of these questions and doubts that I was having, but not all of them. But it was enough to subdue my doubts for the time being. So everything was going good. Everything was going smoothly. We went to college, got through my freshman year, and then at the beginning of summer after my freshman year, these doubts, they started to arise again. And during the summer, so I worked as a rock climbing instructor in Golden, Colorado. And I didn't really have many friends, didn't really have a community of friends or even a Christian community. And that was really hard. Most of my coworkers were way older than me. And none of them were Christian, so it was really hard to have that community and connection during the summer. And so during the summer, I struggled with these doubts. And they really started to eat away at me. I wasn't really sure what to do with them. I just kind of bottled them up. Didn't really have anyone to tell them to, or didn't know how to tell them to others. So I went through the summer with these doubts, and I started to believe that I wasn't sure if I could continue being a Christian. It's not that I didn't want to be a Christian. It felt like I couldn't anymore. And so I really struggled with these doubts. I felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like I'm having all these doubts that I didn't know if I could be a Christian anymore. After the summer, went back to Western. I was surrounded with a great community of friends, people like my roommates, Morgan, our other Rise leader, and another friend named Joel Brown, who you might know, really supported me during this time, and really kind of got a hold of me. So I think God started working through them, started working in my heart through them, and I kind of reached a turning point in my faith. So it happened. I'll spare most of the details of this story, but essentially, me and a buddy, we decided to do a 2,000-foot rock climb that went up a side of a 14,000-foot peak. And we're using like ropes and other safety equipment, and we're at this one part. We're almost to the top, and it's almost dark. And I was so exhausted. I was dehydrated. I was on the wall climbing, and I felt like I couldn't move anymore. I felt like I was gonna, just completely fall off the wall and get injured, which would be bad. And so like all these things were going through my head. It was the first time in my life where I legitimately thought, like this is it. Like I'm going to die. So I immediately started praying to a God I wasn't even sure really existed. I remember praying, God, please save me from this. Please get me off this mountain. And I remember saying that prayer, and then about a minute later, it was as if God were standing right next to me on the wall. And he said, Ty, I'm not done with you yet. And immediately, my strength was rejuvenated. My confidence grew, and I knew that we were able to, we were going to be okay, and that we would get off this mountain alive. So that's what happened. And so that was a turning point, in my faith. It was that crazy, God experience that I can't really explain it. But I know He saved me through that time. And so, I go back to Western, and I'm just kind of reevaluating things. I'm thinking about all the things that happened, and what this means and what this means going forward. And I think I came to the conclusion that Jesus in himself was worth living for, and that I would rather be wrong about Jesus than right about everything else. As I say, I would rather be a Christian and follow the life of Jesus than be right about whether or not God is real. Right? I would rather be a Christian and be wrong about it, essentially, because I believe it's the best way to live. Because I've lived the other way, and I can tell you that I found more joy living a life with Christ and walking with Him. So that's something that really resonated with me during this time. And I also realized that I think it's okay not to know, or not to have answers to a lot of the questions that were causing these doubts. Like a lot of them, I'm literally never going to know. No one's going to know some of these questions. So I just have to be okay with that. I have to give them up to God. I have to give my doubts up to God, really daily. And that's what I did. And luckily the Lord moved through me during that and really got a hold of me. And so it was a really good learning experience. I've grown closer to Him through that. And I just want to share a verse that really helped me out through this time. And that is Mark 12:29-31. And it says, Jesus answered, the most important is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart. With all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these. So that simply boils down to loving God and loving people, and just doing the utmost good through this. That's something that I really hung on to. It really got me through this really hard time of doubt in my life. Because I found that like loving others the way Jesus did, even in this time where I didn't even know if like Jesus was God and was the real deal, I found it brought me greater joy than not doing those things. So that's something that really resonated with me during that time, and it still does. So I hope you can draw something from that. So yeah, that's my story. That's my testimony, and I hope that you learned something from it. And if you have any doubts, any questions, reach out to me. Hopefully I can help you out. I'd love to talk about it with you, just as someone who has experienced it. I would love to further discuss. So thanks for listening. Stay strong during this crazy time. I hope to see you all soon. Thanks.